Hello and welcome to another episode of the Six and Out podcast powered by Sports News Blitz. Today I'm joined once again by Dejan. Dejan, how are you? It's been a long time, but we've got
Yeah,
some cricket to talk about.
it has been a very long time. I'm currently freezing in Leeds right now. It's horrible weather and we're getting close to December. But no, excited to be back. Excited to be back.
Yeah. I mean, it's that time of year again. I mean, probably my two favourite events in Australia, the Ashes and I'm a Celebrity. Get me out of here. So we've
I've
got
never been,
entertainment.
I've never been the biggest fan, but a lot of my flatmates are watching it.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like, I'm just there with my headphones in a lot. But I like look up and see what's going on. I'm just looking at it. It's like, what is? I don't understand. But
Yeah,
fair
but
play.
today we'll be focusing on the cricket. I mean, and the first test has just kicked off between Australia and England, and what a first test it was. I mean, it was over in 2 days. I mean, Dejan, your initial thoughts?
It's hard to put into words what actually happened. It was just, we're all like excited and stuff. I think we're all expecting a really competitive series, and then for it to be over the way it was just like, oh well, it's caused a lot of questions, definitely, and like in terms of how are England going to bounce back, because in 2 days to lose the first Ashes that's a huge setback.
Yeah, and going into it, people saying this is probably England's most competitive squad to tour
Yeah,
Australia since when they last won it in 2010-11. So, I mean, to sort of have that early setback, it will hurt. And just looking on it from a scoreboard perspective, you'd think, oh, Australia dominated them, steamrolled them, but England, they were dominant for majority of the sessions, but it was just that final day, that final innings from Travis Head. I mean, talk about taking the game away from the opposition,
yeah,
as Indian fans know.
yeah. Well, it's finally good to see him do it to someone else other than India. That's good to see. But yeah, as I said, it was quite competitive stuff, because England, especially with the ball, kept with them, and then for them to for Travis Head to play the way he has, that's what great players do. In pressure situations like that, they shine. And the way he played, especially coming out to open the batting, was just incredible. The ball striking was just phenomenal, really.
Yeah. I mean, we'll get more on Travis Head, but I mean, just that you expected wickets to fall just on that bouncy wicket in Perth. I mean, I think if I'm right in saying, in the last Australia-India test in Perth, 17 wickets fell on the opening day.
Yeah.
So it's sort of a carbon repeat, but obviously this time round, the batting couldn't materialise in the second inning. So, I mean, I just want to focus on Mitchell Starc. I mean, he once again haunted England. I mean, he ended up getting his best figures, 7 for 58, and once again striking in the first over to Zach Crawley. I mean, this man, even without Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, I mean, this guy's just inevitable, isn't he?
Yeah, he's an incredible performer. It's unbelievable, really, to see what he's capable of doing, because in that situation, I feel like when it comes to Ashes, he just rises up to a point to a level which is arguably higher than Hazlewood and Cummins, which is a high level. So, I mean, the way he took the wickets today, the big wickets, the likes of Joe Root, Ben Stokes, key players, and he kept getting them out. He kept delivering. As I said, when, especially if Cummins and Hazlewood not being there, you need your big players to step up. And, he was just phenomenal to watch. Running in like that was just incredible.
Yeah, and looking at the Australian side, they obviously had two debutants. You had Brendan Doggett as a bowler, and then you had Weatherald as an opening batter. So England would have fancied their chances even more seeing that. And given the fact that sort of this Bazball era team, their experience, I mean, they sort of come under the cusp of Mitchell Starc, and even then, it wasn't all doom and gloom, because obviously England got their own back with their own bowling, and obviously Ben Stokes picked up that fifer. I mean, just on England's bowling, I mean, how important was it for them to sort of like strike back immediately, obviously, and after getting that sort of low target?
Yeah, I thought the England bowlers bowled brilliantly. I think sometimes when I saw them in India a bit, they just let a couple of sessions go by, a couple of partnerships they just let go, which I think if they'd have capitalized on those in those situations, they probably could have won the series. But, especially in the first innings, well, Australia's first innings, they were brilliant to watch. I mean, I thought Jofra Archer at the top was brilliant on a pitch which we knew he would do well on. And then, of course, the likes of Atkinson, Carse, And of course, you talk about Ben Stokes, the guy. I don't know how he does it. He always manages to. He could run in, even if he's injured, bowl 20 over spells, and still take big wickets every single time. He does it so often. And you don't talk about your big impact players. That's what you want from your captain, to step up in that situation and do that.
Yeah, and obviously with this Bazball approach, it is going to be gung-ho cricket, just swinging for the fences. And even when England got that lead in the first innings, most teams would sort of like, okay, let's reel it back a little bit.
Yeah.
But with England, they just went full throttle once again. I mean, is that sort of a flaw with Bazball? The fact that obviously it's great when it goes right and players are scoring a high strike rate. But obviously, when obviously wickets fall in heaps, and obviously it's hard to recover and play that sort of reserved way.
Yeah, it is a problem. I think the thing is about those players. Obviously, they're very good players, but they have a couple of those players which they shouldn't be falling like that. You know, I think your likes of Ducketts and your Crawleys and stuff, they get you off to great starts, but sometimes they just, if they don't get you off to great starts, they're not gonna. It feels like that's it. That's really their contribution.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know, with the likes of Root and stuff, it's tough because you want Root. You feel like this was the series where Root was really gonna show everyone just how good he is and the fact that he could score runs in Australia. And you know, for his first test to fail like that is not great. And of course, you know, there's other players which definitely feel like they could do better with the bat. But that's always the thing with Bazball. You feel like, they might go and score 500 for all we know, 500 back-to-back innings at Brisbane. But I feel like they could have really toned down a lot, especially in the second innings. You know, it wasn't like the lead was 100, 150, 200. The lead was 40.
Yeah. Literally.
So, you know, I feel like you could have just, it's the start of a new day as well. You know, you got the whole day to bat. You had another 3 days afterwards to bat, so you didn't have to go for it straight away. You could have just taken your time and gone for it, and then slowly built your confidence to then start striking the ball. But I'm guessing that's just the way Bazball is. You know, it's just pick players who just go for it straight away, play aggressive cricket, and do you think that they could have slowed it down, maybe been a bit more kind of mature with their batting, or do you think that's just the way it is? It's just natural.
I think obviously Crawley got out in the first over again. I think that's that's going to be the telling point that, right, we've got to reel things back a bit. And obviously Mitchell Starc, he was literally breathing fire after that first inning. So I think the likes of Joe Root, Ollie Pope, I thought Ollie Pope did okay in both innings. But the more experienced players like Root, Stokes, obviously Stokes with the bat in particular, I think wasn't the best. And then you lose half your side, and then you're just relying on your middle to lower order, who are expectedly they're just going to smash it all the time. So I think you need sort of that anchor inning from someone like a Root. But I just want to ask you, do you think Root not having that 100 in Australia, the 100 that he's been yearning for, do you think that's going to affect him? I mean, it's affected him already. It's 2 single-digit scores. Do you think going forward that's going to affect him even more?
Such a tough question, because the thing is, he's one of those players where it's like it shouldn't affect him because he's that good. Yeah. But that's the thing about cricket, man. It's one of those games where it's like when things start to go wrong, they really play on your mind and you start to struggle.
It's a mental
block.
Yeah.
I mean, you saw Virat Kohli for years struggle, and he was never the same player.
Yeah, in England in particular, yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like for Root, it's one of those where it has to play on your mind. Has to. The fact that he's been playing he's been coming to Australia playing in the Ashes for over a decade now, and the fact that he hasn't got 100 yet, being the top batsman in that team to not score 100, it definitely plays on your mind 100%. And I think I hope for England's sake he does, and he bounces back from this. But as I said, it's tough. It's a lot tougher than people think in terms of a mental game. Mentally, it could be one of those, like I said, a mental blockage, like you said. It's a serious problem. Problem.
I think in particular as well, I think in Australia, you have to grind more than in other
100%.
countries.
100%.
And the fact is, England in the first inning, they actually got off to a relatively decent, opening 1 or 2 sessions. They were actually 160 for 5 at one point, and then they ended up going 172 all out.
Yeah.
So it's like they have the starts, and this Australia team in particular. I mean, you can get at them. I mean, we saw South Africa in the World Test Championship final. I mean, and the fact that they've had players injured, they've had debutants as well. It is a missed opportunity for England, and
100%.
I think with them as well, they get ahead of themselves a lot. I think in particular in the India series as well. I mean, winning, it's like they lose games from winning situations and they win games from losing situations.
Yeah.
There's no real sort of consistency about them.
Yeah, true. It makes the losing situations winning feeling much better. But I think that, like you said, that Australia team was for the taking. You know, it's all the questions before the series was, Australia, Hazelwood's not going to be there for the first test. Cummins not going to be there. There's a question mark over what the top six is going to look like. Is Bo Webster going to play? Cam Green? Marnus hasn't been in the best form. Smith, and then you beat England in 2 days and say, oh, well, that's solved. All that's solved now. But there's definitely huge problems in that Australia team still. And I think England can definitely exploit that. They're just going to have to be a lot smarter when it comes to their batting. Because England really, based on, I know obviously they haven't won in Australia for a long time, but based on the two teams, if you look at them, England have a more settled team.
Yeah, I agree.
So that Australia team is definitely for the taking. And England can definitely come back in this series. As I said, they're just going to have to be a lot smarter with the way they play. Because you can't expect to compete when you're 160 for 5 and get bowled out for 170. It's just never going to happen.
Yeah, and it's only going to get harder when the likes of Hazelwood and Cummins come back into the team.
Exactly.
We know what they can do as well.
Exactly.
I just wanted to move on then, because obviously England obviously struggled again with the bat in the second innings, but even then, setting a target of just over 200 felt like, oh my gosh, I mean, it's there for the taking. The Australian batters are there for the taking. So
that was all-time high in that. That was all-time high in that test. 205.
It literally felt that the 4 and a bit sessions, like across the 2 days, England pretty much won all of those.
Yeah.
It felt like, but I mean, we got to talk about Travis Head again. I mean, he actually comes in to open the batting.
Yeah,
because I think Usman Khawaja has back spasms or whatever the reason is, but it just felt like he came out the script and he just sort of, instead of Bazball, it was Travball.
Oh my! I'm gonna pretend you didn't say that, but yeah, sure. The Khawaja thing was really weird because it was just like, he didn't open.
He didn't make it to the crease in time, so they just had to send someone else.
Yeah, and then he came in at like 5 and then went out straight away. And then he just, I don't know, whether he plays the next test, I don't know. But
that's another big question.
I mean, with the way you played, do you feel like Travis Head has to open now? Just the way he plays and stuff.
Exactly.
It's unbelievable. It was unbelievable to watch. I mean, on a difficult wicket where everyone's struggling, for you to come out and just play like it's a completely different track to everyone else and just play your natural game, just aggressive cricket, was just, 100 off 68 balls, something like that. It's
100. I've got it. It's 123 of 83.
Yeah,
that's like prime ODI. That's going for 350. Like it was crazy. It was mental.
That takes you back to a few years ago in the World Cup final. So
literally, I mean, he does open for Australian white ball. So I mean, it makes sense. It does make sense.
I do remember pretty sure he has opened the batting a few times in the red ball format.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, he's one of those players. I feel like it's just so difficult once he gets going. You are not going to be able to stop him. He plays such aggressive cricket, but the thing is, he's not one of those players that goes out and slogs everything. He actually plays. Yeah. He actually plays controlled
aggression. I like to call it
controlled chaos.
Yeah, that's
intelligence. It just is his intelligence when it comes to his batting, along with his aggression. It's just a perfect combination.
Yeah, I mean, he's so good, like square of the wicket, and he can pull as well, the short ball, and then
especially especially in Perth, that's a pretty good shot, the pull shot with the bounce. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, he could be the solution, but in terms of obviously his potential opening partner in the second test, I mean, you have the debutant Weatherald, and then obviously Khawaja, does he play? Obviously, with him is sort of the age getting up to him, so Who can slot in?
I think Travis Head will go back to open. I think he will. I think they might free up space for maybe someone like a Renshaw maybe a bit lower down, lower down the order, because I think because Renshaw's a good player of spin as well. So so they might just think, obviously England didn't really have any spinners, but just in case, a bit lower down the order.
Yeah.
And I suspect they'll stick with Weatherald again, because I don't, a couple of failures in your first test is not the worst. It's not the end of the world,
Yeah.
And I think they genuinely see like quality in Weatherald as well. The fact that they've chosen him, they've backed him for the Ashes, and not just like another series against a lower team. To back him in the Ashes is a big gamble. So they clearly rate him.
Yeah, and I hope it does go well for him, because I remember in the last Border Gavaskar Trophy in Australia, they had Nathan McSweeney open, it didn't quite work out, and then obviously Sam Constas, who blitzed Bumrah on Boxing Day. Don't want to jog your memory back too far, but but then since then Constas has sort of struggled, so it has been a topic of conversation of finding that opener or settled opening pair, and with Khawaja on his way out, and it could be a head-Weatherall combo going forward.
Yeah, I mean, it's really just been since Warner retired. They haven't really found that opener, because Khawaja for a couple of years did so well when he went back to open the batting. But then, Warner retired. As I said, they tried McSweeney, didn't work. Tried Constas. Playing one scoop shot off about 20 attempts off Bumrah, is great and all, but you can't live off that for the rest of your career.
Yeah, literally. Yeah.
And then when he went to West Indies, he didn't really score any runs anyway. So they've chopped and changed in terms of trying to find the right combination. They've tried Steve Smith opening, Marnus opening.
Yeah.
I just hope that they pick Weatherald and they back him. And with the fact that Khawaja's getting older now, and the fact that his form's dropped a bit, he probably isn't the same player. So it'll be interesting to see who goes alongside him. But as I said, I suspect with the fact that Khawaja's injured, they'll back Travis Head to open alongside him.
Yeah. I feel like after the back of that, you have to. And I think another name, I know you mentioned Renshaw in that sort of middle order. I think Bo Webster could be like another, along with Cameron Green, that sort of bowling all-rounder who can have an option with the bat. So
true.
Just to sort of cover all bases. If the likes of Hazelwood and Cummins remain out.
Yeah. The only issue with that's going to be if you go with Bo Webster at 5, then it would be another left hand and not another right hander in a top eight, which have predominantly right handers. You probably want maybe 2 or 3 left handers, but it's a great option. I mean, Bo Webster did really well. He's done really well when he's been called up for Australian testing. So I wouldn't be surprised with that either.
Yeah, I think it's strange that I know Australia won, but it feels like they have probably a more selection headache for the next test than England.
Yeah.
Because on the England front, who do you sort of change? Like, it's not a case of whether the players, like, obviously they didn't perform to their best in that last innings, but for the majority of the test they were obviously competitive. So do you make any changes? Obviously barring any injury concerns.
I don't think they really need to make many. Maybe some changes with the bowling, purely because of the fact that purely for the fitness of the likes of Archer and Mark Wood. I doubt they're going to play 2 games in a row. But in terms of batting, they don't really need to change anything. They've had that top 7 nailed on for quite a while, you know. And it's one of those things where a couple of failures in an innings shouldn't, define what that top 7 is. That top 7 still is one of the best top 7s in the world at the moment. And I feel like they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine for the series. I really do think England can turn it around. They're good enough with that batting lineup.
Yeah.
So I'm still quite confident that England can turn it around with the bat.
Yeah, I know sort of Jacob Bethel's sort of that wild card option, that sort of young, obviously up and coming. And I know Ollie Pope had his obviously concerns in the India series, and obviously he was probably the best batter in sort of that top 5, 6, or top 5, and then obviously you had Harry Brook come at number 6 as well. So I think not much needs to be changed. I think like you said, I think England will come good, and I think you just have to back the players.
Exactly. 100%.
Yeah. So moving on then. So if you were to sort of change any bowlers, let's say you rest Archer, do you bring in Josh Tong? Do you bring in Matthew Potts?
I could see someone like Tong being very good with a pink ball.
Yeah.
He's one of those.
I thought Tonga was quite good in the India series as well.
Yeah, really good, because especially, or some of the times he started off a bit waywardly, to say the least. But I do think when he got it right, he was probably the most difficult bowler for us to face. Just the amount of the amount of movement he gets off the seam is tough. It's not easy when the ball's going, a bunch of different ways. So he's one of those players that I think he could be I really do think he could be a wild card if they throw him in. He's one of those bowlers that, especially when he gets on a roll, he's very, very tough to face. So I feel like he's one of those where if they throw him in and he does well, that could really be a turning point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like even, I see you mentioned settled batting, I think the bowling's quite settled as well. I know in Ashes series in the past, it's like we're going to have to call someone on a flight over because obviously everyone's injured or no one's obviously playing that well. But I think this time around, obviously the bowling, in terms of obviously rotation, obviously you want your best bowlers, but like you said, it's not feasible seeing the likes of Archer and Wood play 2 tests in a row. So yeah, I think it's a matter of obviously just handling the occasion, because like in that first test, England had their chance. There was an opportunity to sort of build in that second innings. I think that's where it went wrong for them.
Yeah, that's just what I think. Just real quick, you said the lead was 40. If England batted all of the second day and they got the lead to, I don't know, they took their time a bit more and they got the lead to 300, 320. Even though Australia still had the time to do it, I think England probably could have won that game.
Yeah, scoreboard pressure. Yeah.
I feel like Australia's top order and just batting order in general right now is just a bit. This seems like it's a bit all over the place in terms of they don't know where to play who, they don't know what the best selection is for certain players. So I feel like England, as I said, there's going to come a time where maturity is going to play a big part of it, and there's more experienced players are going to have to step up, and they've got the quality to come back, as I said.
Yeah. Well, on the England front, then, would you pick out a couple of players who would say they need to step up more? Obviously, I know Stokes with the ball, he stepped up. You had Brooke with that half century in the first innings. And obviously, I thought Jamie Smith was quite good in terms of batting aggressively, but they didn't really need that at the time. But who do you think needs to step up?
Well, they're going to have to sort the whole Crawley thing out, because to get out twice in the first over to Mitch Starc is a problem, because that's going to be very similar to how Broad always gets Warner out. That could be something that, again, mental.
Yeah.
If that keeps happening, that's going to be a serious issue.
Is he droppable, would you say? Let's say it continues for the second and third test.
I'd say out of the top 7, he's the one that would be most likely to be dropped. But I think he will be. Not at the moment.
No, I don't see Brendan McCullum pulling the trigger. Anyway,
I think he's done enough in the last couple of years to warrant a bit more credit in the bank, I think. But yeah, so Crawley definitely he's gonna have to sort that out, because, as I said, that's going to become a problem if that keeps happening. I think obviously Root. I think in the first innings he just got a really good ball from Starc, and he got a good ball in the second innings as well. So Root can obviously get better, and he will step up. I do believe that. Anyone else?
I think Stokes with the bat.
Yeah, true. That is true.
That's another one. Like Stark's got him out multiple times in formats as well. So, like I said, that could be another matchup thing.
It feels like Stark just gets everyone out these days. It's just that good. So it's hard.
He's 35 now, and he's not. You expect bowlers to eventually slow down, but he's just not slowing down, is he?
I think this is right now. He's making a case for being the best. I'd say pace bowler in the world right now. Obviously, it's tough. It's tough because obviously there's Bumrahs, Rabadas, Cummins, Hazelwood,
Jansen.
Unfortunately. So there's a lot of great pace bowlers out there right now, but the way that Starc is just everything you want in a pace bowler, he has in terms of pace, swing, seam, bounce.
Yeah.
He could bowl the new ball, old ball, reverse swing, death. When he's bowling to the tail, he can get the Yorkers in, short balls. He's got everything, and he's a brilliant bowler. So as I said, if he plays I don't know. I don't know if he's going to play all 5. I mean, he could very easily, but if he does, then that's going to be England going to have to really, sort themselves out when it comes to facing him.
Yeah, and to be honest, in that first innings, it literally only looked like Stark was a real threat. I know Doggett got 2 wickets, but I think if England sort of shifted a little bit away from that sort of gung ho mentality, they could have sort of easily seen Stark out, and then obviously attack, because they attacked Boland quite well, I thought, but even like to Doggett as well. So obviously it's hindsight. It is hindsight, and obviously full credit to Stark. I mean, the way he bowls it was supreme. But I just think going forward though, I think when you know sort of bowlers are hot, I think it might be best suited just to tone it back a little bit and sort of see them as you should in Test cricket as well. I feel.
But that's the thing as well. He took 10 wickets. Think about this. He took 10 wickets at Perth where the ball wasn't really moving like as much.
Laterally,
Imagine what he's going to do with a pink ball at the Gabba.
I was just going to come on to that.
That's what I'm saying. England are going to have to. England are going to have to really sort that out because they can't afford to let Stark bowl like that again, especially with a pink ball where it's going to swing more. Like that's going to be a nightmare. But you're going to have to face up to it, and you're going to have to. Yeah, definitely tone it down a bit more because you don't have to, there's always that saying, block the good balls out, put away the bad balls. You saw Scott, when Boland took the new ball in the first innings, he bowled a lot of half volleys, which the likes of Crawley and Pope got away. Yeah. But then it was like, it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, we hit a couple of boundaries. Now we have to go and hit like a more. It's like a load more. And it's like, well, you could just, relax a bit more, especially against Stark, who's bowling an incredible spell. You're not going to be able to hit every ball for the boundary,
Yeah.
So, as I said, especially with the pink ball, they're going to have to sort themselves out for the Gabba.
Yeah. Well, a lot to think about for England. And before that test in Brisbane, there is actually a warm-up match. England, they're not sending their full team to play the Prime Minister's 11 in Canberra. Yeah. But I think it's squad players, so the likes of Matty Potts, Josh Tong, Jacob Bethel. What are your thoughts on that? Because usually in the past, you'd have the main sort of 11 or main team playing in the warm-ups in the middle of a series. So, and the fact that England didn't have sort of a warm-up before the series, they sort of played 3 ODIs against New Zealand coming into this. So they've not really had any red ball prep before jumping straight into the Ashes. So do you think that's sort of a misstep on Baz McCullum and England's part?
Well, I mean, one thing that we've seen from this kind of like coaching is that they're going to be willing to give players a rest when they need it. But realistically, after 2 days, you probably don't need much rest after 2 days of Test cricket. But yeah, again, I think it's also a thing where a lot of players, as I said, like your Bethels and your Potts, give them an opportunity. If they do well, then they could be knocking on the door to get in the team. But yeah, I feel like some of them could have played this, to get only 2 days. And it would also be good, just to get a bit of confidence. Yeah. To lose like that in 2 days, it can damage you. It can hurt a lot. So I think it would have been good to just get the confidence back in that team if they'd have just gone over there and scored their runs and took their wickets.
Yeah, absolutely. And that test in Brisbane is quite a while away. Like I said, they've got that gap as well. So they'll be itching to get back out there. I mean, and for Australia, I mean, that gives plenty of time for the likes of Cummins and Hazelwood to come back as well. So just if you want to sort of give your overall prediction, how do you think that second test with the pink ball under the lights will play out?
Well, the thing is, I made the prediction at the start of the series that I think England would win because they're like got a more settled batting.
Win the whole series?
I made the prediction beforehand, but I didn't. But I just didn't expect that first test to like go as quickly as it did. That's the thing.
Yeah. To be honest, I thought England would win in Perth out of all the venues, but obviously that's just backfired, isn't it?
But it's tough because Stark with the pink ball, and obviously if Hazelwood and Cummins come back as well, that's just a horrible combination to face when you're batting.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think if England could just mature a bit more with the bat and not go after everything and just be a bit more kind of like take their time a bit more, they will do well. They will turn it around. I really do believe that because they're, the batting wise, both innings were very similar, apart from Travis Head obviously was just incredible. in the final innings. And bowling wise, they were quite similar in terms of the wickets they took as well. So I really do feel like if England could just relax a bit more with the bat, they can turn it around. So
and as I said earlier, I mean, it's that sort of mini phases in the game where sort of the match can just be taken away from you. And as I said earlier as well, I mean, Australia, they're there for the taking. Their batting isn't as good as it was a couple, 2, 3, 4 years ago as well. So
absolutely.
Yeah, so I think that test is going to be exceptional. And
what's your prediction then? What's your prediction?
I think you just have to back Australia. I think momentum's a big thing, especially in a long series.
Yeah,
as well.
True. But then again, it is quite a while.
Yeah, I think as well the toss will be important. I think if you're batting last, especially with that pink ball, it can get tough.
Yeah.
But I think I do back Australia. I did actually have Australia winning 3-1.
I'll go England then, just to be different.
Okay, we'll see. I mean, it's the 1-0 to Australia so far. It is set up to be a thriller. I mean, we've had 2 days of action. Let's hope we actually get more than 2 days. for the Brisbane test. Yeah. Just so people who have day 3 tickets actually get their money's worth. So I've been Bilal, joined by Dejan. We've been on the 6 and Out podcast. Be sure to check out Sports News Blitz on all of its social platforms, and we'll be back for another episode.